Alright, well I did it again, so start this one again. So we got it power cord on, or power plug, new power plug on. I mean, it's not new, it's from a donor radio, but it's on there and it's not going to come off, so it's all good. Check the continuity is good, so now we're gonna fire it up and see what happens. Alright, so here it is. I have to figure out how to turn the echo off because I don't want echo. No, that's not it. There we go. Alright. So this is lower sideband, and the radio's doing about 30 watts, so I figured it was obviously doing higher power. I don't like it doing that much, but that's what it's doing. It doesn't look too bad on the spectrum analyzer. This is lower side, by the way, so it's got a Roger beep on. Yeah, Roger beep is on, so it's probably that little bleep sound. I guess let's check it out on the spectrum analyzer, see how it looks with the two-tone oscilloscope and all that stuff. Alright, so it looks like third order intercept is about 18. It's not too bad. It's about as good as your striker, so it's pretty respectable. Actually, it's about 24 as the ARRL would measure it, so it's pretty good. It's not all flat topped or anything, so it looks pretty nice. Let me find the ALC, see if I can't clean it up just a little bit more. Alright, so I got it to about 19. I just want to double check that. She's got a nice hunking heatsink on it, so I think it can take this long two-tone pretty good. It's not hot at all, so let's get that kind of refined a little bit more if I can. That's good. So let's see. It's about 19, so it's actually a little cleaner now than the striker. Obviously, with lower power, you're going to have less distortion anyway, so that looks pretty good. Yeah, I like that. So probably would maybe do a little bit less now on power, on voice. Sorry about the radio is kind of, because I'm using this RG213. It's flexible, but it's also very big, so it doesn't maneuver around things as well. So the radio is a little lighter, and it's just kind of flopping around here. I make sure it's not gonna slide off or anything. So let me plug this mic in, and we'll take another peek at the power. All right, so we really didn't lose too much power, but 1 2 3 1 2 3 check 1 2 1 2. I mean, it maxes at about 30. Talking power is more like in the 20s, depending, you know, on what words you say. I'm just using a standard President hand mic that would come with this radio. So if I had an NM532 or something here, it might be a little more consistent on the power, but it's okay the way it is right now, you know. I'm curious how it is on frequency. Alright, so this is channel 20 lower sideband. It's about 50 hertz high, maybe a little less than that. It's really not that bad. The Clarifier does not unlock on these. No one really has ever figured that way out. I don't think it's really needed anyways, although we can do it on the USA FCC model. Again, it's not really needed, although it can be done. So, you know, it's getting, you know, about 50 hertz high on, cause that should be 204 on the nose. Let's see what it's doing on upper side. Probably be a little bit different, I bet. And it's about the same. So, you know, the plus or minus on these is like 200 hertz, I think. That's the range that the factory says. So it's, you know, it's well within that spec. I'm going to be honest, I could sit here and spend an hour or more on this, and it's never going to be probably better than this. So there's no sense of me taking a bunch of your money and taking a bunch of your time and my time when I can get some other orders done. So I'm going to say that this is fairly acceptable for this radio. It's not bad at all. You know, this is a generation radio that has crystal oscillators and stuff, so you know there's obviously some tolerances that go along with that. The grand scheme and what I'm trying to say is if someone wants to talk to you and you're using this, they're going to have to slightly move their clarifier, maybe like that. I mean, it's virtually nothing, so 50 hertz isn't a lot to complain about, but you know, there's going to be those guys that, oh, you're off frequency and stuff. Well, not by much. Let's be honest. So, you know, let's see what it looks like on AM for the frequency. I don't really need to put a tone in for that, so I can just key up with the mic. And you know, I could sit here and go through the whole thing, and it ain't gonna be any better. I could get it better, and within 20 minutes, half an hour, I could walk away. It's gonna go right back to that, so it's not even worth it. That's one thing I found with even the McKinley USA. It's not worth your time to sit there and go through it and, you know, play the game with the crystal oscillator heating and cooling and all that stuff. If you're that hell-bent on it being on frequency, that's why we would open the clarifier on the McKinley USA, and preferably the fine clarifier is the one that you need. That way you can fine tune yourself back in if you really need it. I like it on mine, but again, that's just me. So there's AM. It's not too bad at all. This is what I don't like about this radio, is the high carrier on AM. It's almost 10 watt. That's way too much, and I'm not comfortable messing with that because I don't want this radio to go boom on my bench here and then I'm responsible for it. So I would highly recommend, if you run this radio in AM, there's an RF power on this. I think we have to key up for that. Let me get that down. FM is 20 watts. I need to look at the RF power again. I know there's a trick to it and I don't remember, but FM is 20. I still think that's kind of high for it, but you know, I'll check the deviation for you here. There's the frequency on FM. Alright, Gary, so it looks like Doug probably adjusted the deviation. He did a good job, so it's like 3 kilohertz. I'm going to say that's good for this. This was a CB, and I think it has the Europe standard, so I looked at the service manual. I think they said to set it for like 1.5 or 1.8 or something, so it's gonna sound good on FM. There's no question about it. So let's go back to AM really quick, and let's just check the percentage really quick of what it's doing. I just don't like the AM on these. I know the Europe market, at least in the UK, they don't really use AM, but I think in other parts of Europe they still do. So we're going to be really quick with this. The USA McKinley sounds good on AM. It works good on AM. This one, it's about 9.95 watt carrier. It's 93%. But I think it's got a wicked flat top, and we can see a flat top there. And that's normal for these. I think that they really saturate on AM with that high carrier. Yeah, see that, how bad that looks? So I don't really recommend running this on AM. Let me figure out the RF power, how to bring that carrier down, and we'll test it. It'll probably be a lot better there with it down. Yeah, we got her. So you key up, press the dot, and you press this, and then it starts blinking, and you can adjust it. And then you set it to where you like, and then you hold this in to save it. So now we're at 4 watts. I'm just curious to see what kind of power it's going to do at 4 watts. So 4 watts, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Wow, still does a lot. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But it's not very consistent on what it's doing. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Let me put the test tone back in it. I wouldn't say this is really one that you'd want to use on AM anyways, and I don't think you're much of an AM guy. Although this was on channel 1, I don't remember what mode it was on though when I turned it on, but I'm hoping that this isn't one that you really need to use on AM, because I don't think it's going to do that well for you. Anyways, let's see what it's doing. So it's 91% with the tone, but again, it just doesn't look good. And I remember this radio from when I had it before. It's just, there's something about it, and I wonder, because it's in the full power option, if that's why it does that. I don't really know. I know the American one doesn't do that, but the American one doesn't really allow you just to put a standard tone into it either. You have to put some offset with the tone, which is kind of strange too. So this one does take a normal tone, the American one doesn't. There's a lot of differences between these radios, but I got it working good for you as far as sideband. Let's check it. I want to check the TOI on sideband with the power down. I bet you it's going to be fantastic with the power down. This was a multi-norm CB, and personally I'd rather have it like that if it were mine. So I need to actually bring this up some because it's a lower power. I got the power down quite a bit. Let's actually bring it back up to, let's say, around the 12 mark that it should be from the factory. I'm just curious what it's going to do like this. These would be better served, I think, to not have that mod done. If you want to use 10 and 12 meters and export the free banding and stuff, then I guess, you know, maybe, but for me, I would just use this as a multi-norm CB if I was in Europe and call it what it is. And I think it would work well if you wanted a little extra heat or something with it. Run one of those brick RM203s or something, and that's going to give you way more than what this thing would ever give you in the full power option. But I think it's going to be really good. Alright, that's good enough there. Yeah, look at that, 26. That's outstanding. Now that's, you know, the preferred area to run this radio. No distortion. That's like 32 per the ARRL, how they do their lab testing for third order intercept of a transmitter. That's outstanding. You can see how nice it looks there too. So that is with your RF power. Can you see where that is? That's the best spot to run this right there. So we'll see. Let me do that. We'll see what it's going to do with the mic. And playing with this radio kind of makes me want to get one of my McKinleys out and talk on it. The McKinley 2, I mean, I found that McKinley 2 I have worked so good that I didn't need to touch it inside. It was tested perfect. So it was right on frequency, no drift that I could tell. Deviation was like 2. Modulation was in the 90s on AM, which was good enough for me. And sideband was doing like 12, 13 PEP, which was perfect. So I was happy. I haven't really talked on it a whole lot, but I was very happy with that radio, how it tested. So here's our sideband, 1 2 3 1 2 3, check check check, 1 2 1 2. You can see that it still has a tendency to want to shoot up at times, but this is going to be a much cleaner way to run the radio. You can see now that at times the ALC is kind of limiting it more and more, but there still is a little bit of like an overshoot effect at times, and you can see that on the scope here. If we watch the scope as I speak, at times you see those bigger measurements kind of come up there, and that's when that power jumps up like right there. So I do notice with these that, and it's not all the time. Oh, you have a Roger beep, that's why. I was like, why is it doing that when I unkey? Why is it pulsing the power, but the beep is on? Let me hear what that sounds like. Check 1 2, check 1 2. I'm listening to it on a Pro 810E. Let me get it clarified in. Alright, this is what we're listening to it on over here. This is my Pro 810E. You can see where the clarifier is, so I mean it's pretty much 12 o'clock anyways. That's why I'm saying it's not worth me spending the extra time and labor and all that to go through the frequency alignment. It's good enough. Check 1 2, check 1 2. Hello, check check 1 2. So it's kind of there's no antenna on this, so it's a little difficult to pick up the signal, but check 1 2, check 1 2. Hello. Alright, so I put the antenna on it. Check 1 2, check 1 2. Hello, check check 1 2. But I mean it works good. I'm happy with it. This is with the NM532 mic. Check 1 2, check 1 2 3 1 2. Hello.
Chop chop, 1409 on the big Texas AM radio.
Yeah, so I mean it's working fine. I want to go to 10 meter. Maybe I can go down in frequency a little bit. Does this have the span setting on? It goes to the 5. I think there's a span setting though in it, if I remember right. Band's not coming in too good today, although I'm skipping quite a bit. Let me see if I can turn the span on. There we go. I remember that had a span. Now we don't miss anything. This is how I would run this radio.
I'm not sure what the others are operating today. I've been 20 meters, I've been FTA'd, and now I'm going to plant here for an hour or so and see what we can do. So good luck finding them. I hope you get a big stop, and thanks for playing the game.
Alright, Gary, well, I'm going to put it back into the other band for you. And, take the span off. I do like that feature on these, though. I'm not sure if that's in there when it's not modded for export or not, but it's kind of a cool feature anyways. Alright, so I'm going to get it boxed back up. This is pretty cool. I've never seen these before. This is what you sent for your return shipping. So I showed these to my wife and she's never seen them before either. These are like some type of higher dollar stamp. And it's a pretty cool picture on there too. So yeah, we'll get those on there for you, and get it heading back to you after I send you your invoice. So sorry about the delay. And if you have a radio that you sent in, I'm working on some more of those tomorrow. This project today took a little longer than expected, but you know, I like to kind of let the customers know what's going on as I go through things. So I'm not the most speedy person when I do things, but I like to do them the right way and take my time. So anyways, 73, thanks for sending in the little McKinley here. I'm glad I could fix her up for you a little bit. And Doug did a good job on it from Knights, and all I did is just add just a little bit more less distortion on the sideband, but it really wasn't too bad to begin with. 73.